Hello, and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 96 for the week of February 18th, 2013. My name's Ryan Higgins. Who's with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Omar.
And Charlie.
This is our second take. Omar showed up randomly at the door a minute into the first recording, so I thought you were going to be here. Omar, what's up? You decided to come down anyway, huh?
Yeah, I got ditched by my whole family. They all went to go, shopping during President's Day to spend some dead prez.
Nice.
And I had to be at work, and I was actually at work today, so...
So were we all.
Yes.
We spent the day ripping apart our back room, putting up a part of a new wall, making a bunch of new shelving, trying to get all our back room shit organized.
Where'd all those books go back there?
They're in the storage unit. They're in the storage pod.
Okay.
So yeah, we're in remodel mode here at the store. So
Yikes.
fun times. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you don't need your HeroClix maps.
Huh?
Oh yeah, if you couldn't find your HeroClix maps on Friday, it's because they were in the pod by accident.
That's fine.
We'll get those out of there.
They're in
Perfect.
the corner.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of random stuff to talk about, a bunch of questions here. I'll start a few of these and see what we got here. What happened? I have my questions up. Where my questions go? Oh, here's one. Here's one. This is from Jay Luthi. These are all from Twitter. He asks, have you read much of Chris Ware's stuff? If so, how was it? I've heard varying things. At least personally, I've tried. Chris Ware is just not my...
What does he write?
My style. He's I know he wrote that Building Stories. That was the new one that just came out. Jimmy Corrigan. He's written a lot of all the Acme Novelty Library stuff. He does independent stuff. A lot of very well regarded indie work. A lot of graphic novels, but generally is not really my thing. I tried Jimmy Corrigan. I couldn't get into it.
I don't think I've read any of it.
Omar, no, you ever
No.
read any Chris Ware?
No, this guy. I'm looking him up right now.
Yeah, people love him. I mean, he is, when mainstream press covers comics, this is who they cover, guys like Chris Ware.
Oh, this is the Arthur of Moss?
No. That'd be Art Spiegelman. Although, I mean, a lot of times he's thrown around in that same sort of regard.
That literary circle.
Well, I know,
Okay, yeah, he's in that same group of people. I was just reading a little snippet of shit on it.
Building Stories came out this past year. Huge book and huge seller. We didn't sell that many copies, but it was a big selling book this year for a lot of stores and a lot of bookstores. So
Cool.
yeah, Chris Ware is just one of those guys. It's not really my thing. So this is a good one. This is from Scary Pharaoh on Twitter. Asks, what is the biggest... Now, this may actually have to think about it because I didn't think about this yet. The biggest unspoiled shock or surprise you've had reading a single issue. Love the podcast.
Was that part of the question?
No.
Okay.
Do you love the podcast, Brock?
I love
No.
the podcast.
The answer is no.
To loving the podcast?
What's the biggest unspoiled shock or surprise? Doesn't have to be the biggest, but a big one. There's so many.
I guess for me, it sort of comes down to timeline because I've been reading comics so long. Their stuff didn't used to get spoiled for me.
Right. The spoiler culture is like 5-6 years old, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, this was not a thing even prior to that. I mean,
I think for me, it was probably in Brightest Day when Swamp Thing comes back. Like, I flipped that panel and literally was like, holy shit. Like, awesome.
Like recently, I think one of the things was just that sort of Wonder Woman when they introduced the new gods in Orion at the end of Wonder Woman 10, I think it was. I think that was 10. Like that generally caught me off guard, and I got super excited about that. And
Mine was in, I think I brought it up before, but you guys probably don't even remember. It was Swamp Thing. It's the whole battle of the Red or Rot or whatever. And he goes to Gotham. He's in the Batcave trying to find, Bruce for help. Yeah. And then he sees this like bat at the fucking bat computer that's all fucking, the screen's all just jacked. And the bat just comes at him. But then later on, it transforms back into Barbara Gordon. So, I mean, that for me, that was just like, yes! As a fucking just ultimate, I'm a big Babs fan. And just to see that she's like the lone survivor of the Bat family. Loved it.
yeah, I know, not to stick too DC focused here, but Infinite Crisis was full of that for me. The end of the first issue where you find out that it's all the survivors of Crisis on Infinite Earths.
That was cool.
yeah.
Superboy Prime going fucking crazy and killing all those people, killing Risk or mauling Risk, killing Panther. Just kicking the crap out of all those Titans. Yeah, that was a great, like, sort of like, holy shit, he's gone totally nuts. But especially really that scene with Superboy Prime and Alexander Luthor and Clark and Lois from Earth 3? No, 2. Yeah, that was a fantastic moment. So, and I mean, you kind of thought, okay, Anniversary of Crisis on Infinite Earths, but actually bringing those characters back I did not expect that. I did not see that coming at all.
I guess just to put it bluntly, that's one of those amazing things when they just kind of go, yes, we know how we try to avoid all this continuity and avoid it. Well, we're not avoiding it now.
Right. And I think maybe just from the last handful of years, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I guess it can lead to better sales, but Marvel specifically has had so many of their books spoiled by like USA Today,
it's their own PR department a lot of times.
Right. That's USA Today is Marvel's like PR paper. I mean, it used to be Wizard for a long time, and then now it's USA Today. They put this stuff out there on Monday and Tuesday before the book is actually out to build momentum for it. So when the time I actually read the book, I'm like, well, I had the spoiled already for me. So it's getting those unspoiled shock moments, especially the last couple of years, has been really hard. Mm-hmm. They just don't. Everything. And someone over the weekend has copies of Batman Incorporated #8 and was posting the cover online. I don't know if you guys all saw this, but it's like, this shit doesn't come out for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's already posting pictures like, oh, come on. Like, I used to kind of do the spoiler thing for a while because we get the books early. And I for a short time, I did that. But it just made me feel like, well, one, it's not very professional being, an employee of at the time an employee and now the owner of the store. But then two, you just don't want to ruin it for people.
True. True.
You're like, oh, I got this thing. I know and you don't know. And I can show you.
It's cool if they do it, to lead you to the story, but not if it's a fucking trailer. Like my homeboy, my buddy Trey, he always says, like, fuck trailers. He's a big, like, really into film.
Yeah.
And, like, trailers these days, they pretty much just show every single good fucking part from a movie. And it's just like, they give the teasers, the TV spots, the trailers, and by the time, it's a fucking whole cut-up movie.
I'm sure you've heard me say this before. These days I watch the teaser and one trailer, and that's all I'll watch.
What's the point, right?
Star Trek, I think I have, like, we got the teaser, and we got, like, the Super Bowl ad, which was, like, sort of just more of, like, the teaser. There wasn't, I will watch a full-on trailer.
Yeah.
Done. All right, Superman. We've had, like, kind of 2 little teasers.
Yeah, I was about to say, it feels like multiple teasers.
Yeah. We haven't had, like, the Superman
good.
Trailer. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it the trailer and then done. Like, I don't watch any of those TV spots. I don't watch any of the little behind-the-scenes stuff. Yeah. I don't watch any of that.
Yeah. Though I do like how sometimes they work with, like, say, History Channel or whatever, not specifically comic book movies, but, different films.
Yeah.
I think there has been some, maybe with Prometheus, I think they did one, but that's not really comics, but it's still of that same subgenre. Anyways, where you gets into the whole history of shit and breaking down the mythos of a character or whatever. I like that kind of stuff because it doesn't necessarily show everything, and does, if anything, it just shows a little cut from a trailer or a teaser, but it doesn't give you anything extra, and has like little behind the scenes. It's almost like a behind the scenes DVD that we see in the cool DC animation, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, we've been talking about the big two, but I think that's one of the things that I like about. Well, I'm always forever behind on Walking Dead.
I was going to say, Walking Dead issues 1 through 106. There's unspoiled shockers for you. Every issue of Walking Dead, there's something that's like, oh god.
Yeah. Like, even so, I read the sort of slipcase omnibus editions they put out. So I haven't got a chance to read number 4 yet, but I have no clue what happens after number 3. It's been 30 something issues and.
Yep.
Or 40 now. And nothing's been spoiled for me.
Do you not know what happens in issue 100?
Nope.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's big.
Yeah. I just, in general, I have managed to fly underneath the radar in, like, the big events of that book. And it makes me happier when I'm reading the book, honestly. And same with Invincible. I don't do the slipcases on Invincible. I just do the normal deluxe size hardcovers on Invincible. But again, every time I get those, that's another 13 issues. There's always at least one shocker in there, one, like, holy shit moment in there. And
Well, I mean, for me, it's like with TV shows because I wait for the DVDs to come out. So it's like a lot of times I don't get, I avoid spoilage and stuff like that, like trying to just, you just don't pay attention to what things are posted and,
Right.
people are talking about it, you walk the other direction. Or...
All right, I got a few more questions here. I felt like we answered this fairly recently, but if we didn't, I'll answer this again. This is from TPBJ on Twitter. He says, we mentioned a bunch of essential comic books, and they were all DC. Funny that. What are the must-read Marvel graphic novels? And I thought we answered this a little while ago, but I feel like we did. But
in print or out of print?
Oh, well,
that's what I was going to say. Like it's when it comes to Marvel books, I tend to look at in the X-Men books, this is what I suggest, and like
Marvel's actually been bringing a lot of their classic stuff back into print. For a while, man, you couldn't get hardly anything past the last few years, but they've slowly started to bring stuff back in. They're bringing in some nice new hardcover versions of like Days of Future Past, and they're bringing like the X-Men, the Chris Claremont X-Men book that's coming back into print.
And they just put out that X-Force omnibus.
Yeah. So there's a handful of stuff they're bringing back in. I know one. We always mention Kingdom Come for DC, and its counter at Marvel's is Marvel, or at Marvel is Marvel's. Sorry. Yeah. So Marvel's by Kurt Busiek and Alex Ross. So I can't suggest that enough.
I always say Immortal Iron Fist just because I think we've all said it in some different shape or form of a book, maybe not answering TBJ's question specifically, but it's got to be said.
First 3 volumes.
Every single fucking time I talk to a friend, they're like, hey man, what should I pick up? What kind of trait? Immortal Iron Fist, dude. That's just incredible.
Yeah. Although I'm not a big fan, I have to give it to Marvel for how far they've gone with the Deadpool classic trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
If you like Deadpool, Marvel has tried these classic trades in the past, and they always peter out around around volume like 2 or 3. Like they never really get very far in them. I think Deadpool Classics up to like volume 8 or 9 now. Like
they've been going and going.
Yeah. So that's, if you like the character, that's definitely one. Welcome Back, Frank, which is the first arc of the Garth Ennis Punisher.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. Marvel's gotten really good when they're bringing back this stuff back into print. They're giving you a really nice chunk nowadays. Like, they don't bring back these small little trades. It's like the Daredevil Ultimate Collection to do like the Brubaker and Bendis, and like they're giving you 2 or 3 trades,
which is smart,
in one trade.
Very smart.
And, I'm a big fan of these thicker trades they've been putting out.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, I think when I came back in,
New Warrior Classics Volume 1 and 2.
Nobody needs that. I think it was, Annihilation, but those are...
Some are out of print, which is frustrating.
Which is really frustrating. But, I really enjoyed House of M.
Agreed.
Because it was just... It was interesting. It was a different take. It was nice to kind of see these characters in a different light. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff like picking up Straczynski's Thor.
That's one they need to do like a fat collection on, because they still have the 3 small trades on that.
Well, they have the omnibus.
Yeah, but they need to do a fat trade on that.
Yeah, fat trade.
Yeah, I mentioned earlier Days of Future Past, classic X-Men story. Heavily influential on the new X-Men movie coming up, so jump on that.
I've been amazed at how nicely they've been doing the older X-Men like omnibuses and hardcovers recently, between like the Extinction Agenda and the Executioner Song.
We're at the point where we have a very large majority of the X-Men in omnibus form, like between the Silver Age stuff, through all the John Byrne and Chris Claremont stuff, Grant Morrison. We have all the stuff, almost everything from the 70s and 80s at this point. Yeah. Almost all that run. You don't have like the Joe Mad stuff. You don't have like the Chuck Austin stuff. There is definitely big runs that we don't have, but I don't think that's really needed. So,
no, I love all that stuff.
Yeah. That's what else we got here. I feel like we answered this a little while ago too, but maybe it's worth looking at again. Troy on Twitter asks, what would you like to see in the new 52 or Marvel Now that's not already there? Actually, I don't think we answered that.
Outsiders.
Is that your DC pick?
Geoforce.
Hey, we haven't seen any version of the Outsiders, huh? Not yet? Tara's in...
Tara's in Ravagers.
She's in Ravagers.
Which got canceled.
Looker was in like that one shot.
She had a one shot.
Yeah.
Black Lightning appeared with Blue Devil on DC Universe Presents.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Geoforce yet. And then Katana, of course, she's got her own series going right now. So,
she was in Birds of Prey, and she'll be in the JLA book out this week.
I think for me, it was partly I kind of was disappointed that Batman Incorporated didn't utilize the Outsiders more. I think
they were part of it originally.
They were a very small fraction of it. Like they showed up in a panel in the background, but it wasn't really like brought up.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish they had done something with that, but we'll see. Marvel Now.
What have they not done?
Dan Slott off of Spider-Man.
I don't know, bro. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm no.
And I haven't read Spider-Man for fucking I don't know, 10 years.
Yeah. I don't know. When it comes to the Marvel Now stuff, most of the stuff I can think of is kind of
you want the Great Lakes Avengers, don't you?
Well, no,
that would be fun.
The thing that gets me right now is it's like my obvious answer is stuff like do a big epic apocalypse story, but they're kind of already messing around with the Kid Apocalypse and Wolverine and the X-Men, so it doesn't seem like it's time for another Return of Apocalypse story. Like everything kind of comes around in cycles, and I would love them to basically get to some of those classic characters a little bit more, but they all exist in some form. They may just be different at the moment, like Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, it feels like to me Marvel's hit most of their big properties of Marvel now. My only wish for DC would be, and some smaller ones. I'd like to see like Adam Strange show up in like Threshold, maybe bring in a new version of him. Man, why is there not another Teen Titans book just called Young Justice? Like, they really should just.
Well, there is in the little kiddie section, kiddie spinners. Right?
I mean, like a teen version of Justice League Unlimited. Just be like, oh, here's all the teenage heroes, just kind of like in a big book, But I don't know. Like, it seems dumb that there is no current Young Justice. Just title called Young Justice.
Oh, I know what I need from Marvel.
Clearly, Wally. Everyone wants Wally back. Everyone wants Donna back. So
I know what I want from Marvel.
What's that?
Good space shit.
We'll talk about that in a few minutes.
You're going to get it from Steve McNiven and his favorite writer. Is it Jeff Loeb?
Yeah, but we're not going to get it with Nova.
Sure we will, but it'll be a different Nova, right? Oh, no, it's Iron Man. Iron Man's taking Nova's place. There you go.
Why do we let him on the podcast?
Because I'm not a fucking comic snob. Maybe that's why. I don't know. For me, I think for DC, I said it before, I'm like lukewarm on Batgirl. I still read it, but, Stephanie Brown, Proxy, and Cassandra Cain, those three, I see they need to be back within the Bat universe. I know that, sure, we had to rebuild ourselves.
Young Justice.
Yeah, I don't know. I think just do Batgirls. That would be the shit, right? Batgirls.
Right, totally. Yeah. No, I'm down. 100%.
And I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but I fucking hope, I really wished I wanted Alfred to die, so then they kind of created this new intel person for Batman and make Batgirl just stay it there, and we just see the new version of Oracle being transformed in the New 52. Like, I would have really liked that, and I was disappointed that Alfred didn't die.
I have a question. Would you like Stephanie Brown to be the new Oracle?
No.
Why don't we have...
Oracle needs to be someone that has some major fucking cred that can run shit.
Why don't we have Batwoman, Batgirl, Black Bat, and whatever you want to call Stephanie Brown, and then have a new Oracle running the team, like a duo, like a second Birds of Prey book.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is something more and more like Birds of Prey.
Right, but just a second Birds of Prey.
It would be Birds of Prey, pre-New 52. Because the Birds of Prey now, very different. I like it. Yeah. It's very different. I love Starling.
I got it. Chicks
I love
of Prey.
Poison Ivy.
Chicks of Prey.
Bats of Prey.
They already did that with Sirens of Gotham.
I'm just going off of Teen Titans.
To me, it was
a
joke,
right?
but it was
Little
one of my favorite books. Still, I loved Sirens of Gotham. Fucking incredible.
Gotham City Sirens.
Okay, let's.
That's what I meant.
Let's move on. Going here from Tiny Tim on Twitter.
I'm sorry, Tiny.
He asks, "Have you read any of the recent Rocketeer series? Thoughts?" I read the first.
There's a Rocketeer series?
Yeah, there's been a series of anthologies. I read the first one. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest...
IDW?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was...
Good. Mark Waid did some of that.
I like the Mark Waid stuff. That's primarily what I read.
Samsey work on that? Am I thinking of a different book? Because he's been doing some Daredevil stuff recently. I thought... Did him and Mark Waid do that? I may be totally wrong. He may have a different artist on it.
like most things, there's certain artists that I am very aware of when they're drawing a book, and then everybody else is just somebody did the art for this book.
You're reading this question off the internet. The internet does have other information.
Yeah, but I don't want to sit here and look it up while we do it. So yeah, Rocketeer's cool. I mean, I just never really got into Rocketeer, but it was
I like the movie.
Yeah, it was a good series.
Well, any movie with Jennifer Connelly in it is fucking incredible.
It was like the new stuff is just great pulpy stuff. It's the same way I like the Spirit book when Darwin Cook.
Yeah,
when he was doing it, and I love sort of like good pulpy heroes.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Like the last installment of Jonah Hex. It has nice pulp stuff to it.
And of course, you have Masks going on right now. So, yeah. Good time for pulpy heroes.
Recent Comic Conspiracy subscriber to physical media, Stefano. He's a digital transfer to physical copies. So congratulations on making the jump. He asked, how does your local comic shop determine which indie books to carry? Does Kickstarter solve that problem?
The answer, Ryan looks at the book and goes, nope, yep, nope,
well,
nope, yep.
So
nope.
This is how I do.
I think someone wanted me to order this. Nope.
Okay, this is how I do indie stuff. Dark Horse and Image is a little bit different. If you're going back catalog, like back half of previews, so no Dark Horse, no Image, no IDW,
like the bottom 0.1%.
I mean, you have Boom, you have Dynamite, you have some stuff. I'll order a handful of copies of just about any number one. If you're pitching me graphic novels at $20 by unknown creative teams of unknown characters, I'm not going to order your book almost regardless. If it's by First Second, that's a good company. I'll generally order anything they put out because they put out some interesting stuff. But there's a lot of these. But I'm like, you're no. I'm sorry, but you're no one. And your book is nothing. I've never heard of it. I'm not going to spend $20 on this book to order for the store. Sorry, unless it looks really cool, which it never does.
I don't know. Archaea does put some stuff out. I mean, they're local, San Jose, right?
What's that?
Archaea.
Archaea's okay. I order some Archaea stuff. Yeah, okay. But a lot of times it's just like the straight to graphic novel thing is a killer for me. Yeah. I can't support unknown creators at $20 a pop.
Did you guys do the what is it? Peter the Vampire Killer or some shit like that? Remember that came out like 3 years ago.
You're talking slave labor? Slave labor is local. That's them. That's slave labor. We ordered a couple. They're in my used section now. Yeah, I sold like one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I mean I used to sell a ton of slave labor, but not anymore. If it looks cool, I'll order it. That's all I could say. If it looks dumb, I won't. If it's like a name creator, and I hate to say it, but if it's a name creator, I'll order a couple copies. You know, we got to the point, like let's say with Dynamite, with other licensed properties. Like I used to sell a ton of it, and it just drifting down, and now it's like all special order only, like Red Sonja and Vampirella, and like I don't carry any of that for the shelf anymore. I just don't sell them.
Green Hornet.
Green Hornet. Yeah, I just don't sell any of that stuff anymore. I don't sell 2 or 3 copies to subscribers, but that's it. You're talking Image. Image is the hottest thing right now. I mean, I used to order almost nothing from Image because it was bullshit miniseries by bullshit creators that would never go anywhere and nothing would ever come of it. And every now and again, you get one thing that was kind of cool that you miss out on, but I wasn't missing out on 99% of it. Image has really turned a corner. And this actually references another question someone asked, and we'll talk about in a few minutes. But Image, if it has that eye on it these days, people are buying it. It's like Spawn and Wildcats days, except it's 3 to 5 copies, not 300 to 500 copies, and they're not superheroes. But we sell the shit out of all that Image stuff. Like I'll sell every Image book I get in the store with a few exceptions. And
for the most part, they're good enough books to justify still picking up at number 2. Which
yeah. I mean, our Image is slow but steady. Not 500 copies and then nothing for issue 2. Like I'll sell a handful, maybe a half dozen copies, but it sells consistent, and that's what you want. With the New 52 and the Marvel Now books, they go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down, and it's so frustrating. But yeah, I mean, here's a perfect example, all right? And I don't know, Brock, this book looked stupid. I knew nothing about it. Yeah. It looked dumb. The solicitation looked dumb. It looked like a terrible book, so I didn't order it. And that was, what was it? Todd
the Ugliest Kid.
Todd the Ugliest Kid on Earth, right? Is that what it's called?
I think so, yeah.
And people saying the book is great, it's fantastic. But the solicitation looks stupid. There was nothing there to sell me on that book. I'm like, well, I ordered everything around it, but this looks terrible, so I didn't order it. Apparently I missed out on something because people say it's really good. But if your solicitation looks stupid, I'm not going to order it. I don't care what it is.
No, I understand why you didn't order it. I looked at the solicitation and I was like, But it was one of those things where I saw an ad for it and I was like, oh, I'll check this out. But yeah, it's hit or miss with some of those.
Yeah.
Small, it's only a 4-issue mini.
Yeah. And that's, I see that miniseries, and this is,
Well,
it's hard because that's no-name creators and no-name characters, and a 4-issue miniseries you'll never see more of. That's not a lot to get me to order.
And the other big problem with this kind of stuff, at least from the way I've always looked at it, is most of the time if you have a really crappy Spider-Man story or something, there's still some sale value putting it up on the shelf and whatnot. But if you order wrong on some of these indie books, it ends up in quarter bin.
Yeah. I've been emptying them all day.
Yeah.
And if it's on Kickstarter, I will not order it. Kickstarter, I have not seen a retailer offer through Kickstarter that made it worth ordering for the store.
Yeah,
and not only that, I wouldn't order it anyway because you're not going through any sort of distribution channel or easy method for me to restock your book. I've tried some micro distribution deals, and it's not easy, and I missed issues and sacrificed Sam Humphries, his book, perfect example, fantastic book. Trouble like hell to try to get this book. Eventually, the guy stopped replying to me and wouldn't send me any more copies. I don't know what happened, but I got a few. I got a few from a shop. I got a couple from him, and then nothing. So, oh well, sorry.
Yeah, I've seen some great books on Kickstarter, but it's like, I don't necessarily have the money at the time the Kickstarter's going on, but I'd be willing to buy that if I saw it on the shelf.
If it shows up in previews, I'll order it if it looks okay, but usually it's a graphic novel, so I'm not going to order it. Unless it got huge, crazy reviews from Kickstarter, and Kickstarter's batting about a 5% these days on completed properties. So we'll see.
I don't know. Kickstarter, We Love Fine, all those types of, methods to connect an artist with the masses. It's great, but that's what it is. Eventually,
right.
that artist is going to get signed. Or
they're the store. We are not the store for anything on Kickstarter. Kickstarter is the storefront.
Sure.
So we can't.
At least from me and my perspective, to be perfectly blunt, even the people who are known creators and stuff that show up on Kickstarter, I immediately kind of file that in the back of my head and go, I'll look at this on their table at the next con.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah. So, Leon, here is a question that's kind of it's a funny follow-up here. Unrelated, but definitely a follow-up. He asks, what is with the decline in standalone series? And I think this goes back to what we were just talking about. If you're talking about indie stuff, you're talking about a lot of unknown creators, and you're definitely, there's a lot. I think we're actually a little bit in the opposite, especially with Image and IDW recently, and Boom for that matter. There's been a lot of just standalone series. Now, if he's talking superhero stuff, maybe he means like non-crossover, kind of like Daredevil style, where it's very independent of everything else. A lot of it just has to do with sales. So it's just crossover sell. So. But if you mean more independent stuff, just like standalone, short, independent series, there's always a lot of them out there. But
if he's talking like mainstream standalone, like minis from like Marvel or DC, you're not necessarily going to stock it because is there really going to be a high interest in this, Hawkeye miniseries that comes out or this, 400th Wolverine miniseries that comes out?
Well, Marvel and DC have almost completely stopped doing miniseries. Back in the day, you used to do them all the time. And in fact, a few years ago, Marvel was doing so many miniseries. Yeah. DC solved this method by saying, hey, G.I. Combat may be an 8-issue miniseries, but you call it an ongoing, you're going to get more people ordering it. You call it a 4-issue G.I. Combat miniseries or a 6-issue, I'm going to order almost nothing.
Yeah.
Vibe and Katana are perfect examples of the same thing. These books aren't going to go more than 8 or 12 issues, but if they called it a Katana 6-issue miniseries, I would not be ordering the number I ordered of a new ongoing number 1.
Sure.
So,
yeah. But what were your numbers on like Ray and Phantom?
Very low.
Phantom Lady and
very low. If they said Freedom Fighters ongoing, I would have ordered more number 1s. I can't say by number 3 they wouldn't be down to what I ordered eventually, but that miniseries tag, it's going to be, clearly if it's an event book, if it's an Age of Ultron or Blackest Night or something like that, that's different. But if you're just like, kind of random low-tier character with mid-tier creators, that book's going to die on the road.
Out of continuity, we have to tell it out of the book.
I think for me, the flip side of that is like when Batman Beyond came back, it started as that mini series that sort of came out of nowhere and went to ongoing right after that.
That's a little bit different. I think that seemed more like an event, not a big event,
but that's kind of what I meant is a lot of times when it seems like they're just pumping out miniseries for the sake of miniseries, I kind of agree there's not really much appeal to picking it up. But if it's something that this character hasn't been seen in a long time, or this is something people have an attachment to that hasn't been touched on in a long time.
I think if it has something attached to it, like if it's kind of the testing the waters with something attached to it, like, you know, like you said with the Batman Beyond, where the cartoon had come out, let's test the waters with a miniseries, kids book. It worked real well. Let's keep going with an ongoing series.
Well, and even then, going outside of the big two, when they first got the Farscape property, like they did a couple of miniseries at first and then went to ongoing. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a place for a miniseries, but I don't think there's a place for a miniseries just for the sake of we're trying to raise our numbers without adding another ongoing right now, which seems to be the case in a lot of times for DC and Marvel, in my opinion.
Okay, I had a bunch of questions here. Let's see if I can burn through a few of these. Walzo, the Serial Kills, asks, if you're able to talk to Jack Kirby, what would you ask him about? I got nothing.
How high were you when you did Fourth World?
Oh, very high.
No, not how high. What drugs were you doing?
Yeah.
Is this a combination? Can we get the cocktail ingredient?
What music were you listening to while you were thinking up the idea of... Wait, Kirby. Wait,
I just want to know...
Did he do Blue Beetle?
No.
Oh, man.
I just want to know the OMAC cover with the disassembled girl in the box. What the hell was that about? That's what I want to know.
See, I don't really have any questions for him. I love a lot of the stuff that he did and put into work, and I'd probably just start and stop with that.
All right. David here asks, what are your thoughts on marking up recent books? Recently saw shops in Orange County selling Star Wars 1 for $25. That is a good question. It's something I wanted to talk about here for a minute. We were talking about Image earlier. Talk about books that just randomly go for a ton of money, and Image stuff is crazy. And I don't know. I don't know if there's just a group of people going around collecting up all this stuff and trading it with themselves on eBay for crazy money. But like I was pissed off over the week because I had every eBay scalping asshole in here at 10:59 on Wednesday grabbing every copy of Peter Panzerfaust we had on the shelf, which I love the book but haven't been able to read the last two issues because we get these people that come in and buy them all. Just because all the early issues are flipping on eBay for $100 a pop for the early ones. And the second I start ordering more copies of the book like that, people are going to stop buying it because everyone's going to start ordering more copies. I don't know what is with the current price of books. People are paying some dumb fucking money for comic books recently. I don't get it.
Don't fall for it.
It's rarity, right? It's print. It's the low print runs. It's supply and demand. I mean, I get it, but I don't. I think everyone just wants a new Walking Dead #1. Everyone wants a piece of that pie. Every new Image book is a new Walking Dead possibility. If I pay $100 for it now when it's $10,000, it'll be worth it. It's never going to hit those prices. Walking Dead is a literal once in a lifetime thing. No other comic book. The only comic book I could think of in the last 30 years would be like TMNT #1. And then you got to go back to the Silver Age so you start hitting books that have started hitting those prices. There's been a couple, but very little.
And it's always the ones that literally came out of nowhere. #1 didn't really have anything. Robert Kirkman wasn't a name when Walking Dead #1 came out at all. People weren't buying the book because it had his name on it. So obviously places didn't order the numbers they would now if Kirkman's name is attached to a book.
If you're paying $100, or if you're paying hundreds of dollars for Chew, or $100 for Peter Panzerfaust, or whatever your book du jour is.
Player.
I want you to go back and see how much your copies of Grendel and Mage are. I want you to see how much your copies of Star Wars Dark Empire are. I want you to go see how much your copies of Spawn and Wildcats and Youngblood are. I want you to go back, and we've done this so many times.
But Spawn, I mean, that's a kind of like.
But you know what I mean.
No,
we've seen this so many.
I agree with Dark Empire though, because the prices on that shit. I remember buying. I bought a copy for $50.
Yeah,
because I got caught up in that shit.
Go look at your copies of X-Force #1. Go look, but again, those are your talking high print runs. So let's go to some low print run books. I mean, stuff like Mage and Grendel, I think, are a good example of they're not big print runs, But There are some that will keep its value, but these aren't going to last, and I just don't get it. I don't see why. Stuff like Star Wars, people were paying some stupid, like up to $40 the week that book came out. You can get them now on eBay, first prints for like $6-8.
Yeah.
And even that's like, well, 2 or 3 times cover.
Yeah, I still see 2 shops in the Bay Area that's selling it for like $15.
Yeah. You know why?
Yeah.
Because they paid $8-10 for
Yeah.
them.
No, then that makes sense from that standpoint, but they got to adjust, man, because otherwise just looking like idiots.
To me, it's just, and this is something that's always like, here, I'll share a story.
Story time. Yay!
So for me, as a consumer going to a shop, if you want me to never set foot in your shop again, raise the price on something that came out that day and watch me walk out and tell everybody that is fucking bullshit.
That's how you get rid of the eBay guys. Just pull your copies of Peter Panzerfest off the wall and slap them for $20.
I'm half serious in not putting books on the wall for like the first hour, and then like those rare hot books, and then just putting them out at like noon after they're all come and gone.
That would be nice of you to do that, because you're not like a douchebag like that. But I do agree that would be kind of funny if you kept being on that. Oh, you're here for Panzerfaust?
It's $20.
All right, perfect. Here you go. Yeah, $10.
Yeah.
Maybe not 20. I mean, let them make $5 off it.
But
They're going to try to sell it.
I've gone through this going into stores and stuff, especially when you're talking about the stuff that gets spoiled online. Like, I don't even want to know how much people spent for like Spider-Man 698 the day it came out in some stores, who would obviously have pulled either a certain amount of copies or even just pulled all the copies and went, well, they're paying X amount on eBay, so I obviously should be selling them for X. To me, that is fucking stupid.
I have never pulled a comic off the shelf like first day. If it's something like 6 weeks later and I still have a random copy and I see, oh, look, it's $20 on eBay, that's different. But if we're talking like the week the book come out, I have never pulled a copy.
I have been to various places who have done that with the stuff they got in that day.
I got people that came in like halfway through the day on Wednesday asking for Peter Panzerfaust, and like, I swear to fucking Christ, every single one of them I asked, I was like, oh, I really like this book, because I do. What do you think of it? Oh, well, I mean, I'm kind of waiting to find the other issues before I sit down. Fuck you. You're just selling them on eBay. Don't give me that shit. I know what you're doing. I hate you.
I'm so glad I never read that Peter Panzerfaust.
It's good.
When
It's good.
you guys brought it up.
Great
The
book.
first trade's
Whatever.
$14.99.
There's a lot of good books out there.
Yeah.
Well, why? Like, okay, we had issues like 2, 3. Like, I think we sold out of 1. I had like 2, 3, 6, 7, like 6 and 7 on the shelf, and like just keep gathering dust. And all of a sudden, like, boop, all gone.
Is it like better? Is it better than Joe the Barbarian?
Within like a weekend. But, I mean, it's different. It's nothing like it.
Nothing like it at all.
No.
From the standpoint of it being. Wait. So Peter Panzerfaust, who's the writer on it?
Man, I forget the guy's name.
So it's It's just like a no-name guy.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
it's
just
a new creative team at Image. It's Peter Pan in World War II. It's not exactly Peter Pan, but it's Peter Pan, quote unquote. Peter Pan-esque in World War II.
Is there any kind of, like, I guess I'm just wondering, because Chew I kind of understood because it got some legs just from how strong the story started selling. Yeah. And I know it got optioned as a TV show. And as soon as anything gets optioned as a TV show nowadays.
Why do you think I've sold almost every issue of Six Gun I have in the store in the last like 2 weeks?
Yeah. As soon as something gets optioned, all the people come in like, oh, this is going to be the next huge thing. And a lot of those things that get optioned never make it to any kind of...
Chew. Chew's done.
Yeah. So I would love to see more of this stuff go to TV shows, obviously. But yeah, that sort of kills me too. But has Peter Panzerfaust been optioned for anything? Because I hadn't seen anything. So
I don't think so.
Yeah. But I have no clue why that one suddenly got traction.
I think
because CGC copies at number 1 started selling for like $250 on eBay. That's why. It's a chicken and egg sort of thing. It happens because it's worth money, because people think it's worth money. It's not, and it's totally random.
The guys that get the comic book off the shelf first day and send it into CGC and then do a rush order on it, and then they're like, okay, I want to get this for it, and then by the time they actually get their copy back and people are looking for first issues, they're already putting theirs up for a buy it now at $250. And they're like, oh shit, well, and then people are just jumping around to get it. Because I mean, when I went to San Antonio, because Thief of Thieves came out and Peter Panzerfest came out about the same time, and I had gone to San Antonio, and there was actually a copy of Peter Panzerfest #1 in San Antonio. I was like, I already have it. I don't need to buy it. And then I found another copy of Thief of Thieves, and I was like, I'll pick this one up. Both now are going for ridiculous amounts of money for #1, and it's like, I didn't gouge the shelf the first week.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, it's hard to, it sucks, and it's annoying, especially for people who are trying to read it. Like, I know the popularity of Saga and all that stuff. And, but it's like, you can't sit there and overstock the shelf because you'll get...
The second I triple my order, that's the issue the sales totally fall off on. Every time, without fail.
But I guess to get back to the actual question, yes, I fucking hate it when shops just immediately jump on the bandwagon of all these people thinking this book should be worth more than cover price and start therefore charging.
Well, now, do you think they should be? Do you think it's okay for them to take a few copies and put it up on eBay?
I have no problem if you still have copies left on the shelf after Wednesday and you go, this is getting money on eBay and I want to blow some of these copies. I have no problem with that. But I do have a problem if somebody walks in on Wednesday and you intentionally, it's sort of this very thin line because I do want shops to be successful. I do want shops to make their money, but not at the expense of their customers.
But see, and here's the problem. This is the issue I have, and I don't know how to get around this. If I put it on the shelf for my customers, the eBay scalpers come and grab them and sell them themselves on eBay. If I put them on eBay, I look like the asshole. If I sell out of them and give them to these guys, they make the money. It's a lose-lose either way.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself. They come at 10:59. They come when the shop opens. Oh, what are you looking for? Oh, yeah, I haven't put that out yet. I'm going to probably have it a little later today, around noon. Like you said, 1 or 2. The majority of your regulars, from what I see, they come in around that time. So at least
whenever, right?
the regulars will come in. I know a lot of them do the pulls, but still, we still grab stuff off the shelf.
Yeah, but
that's a normal thing. It's not just we're not like.
But do I have time to sit here on a Wednesday morning and be like, time to check every book on eBay to see what it's selling for?
No,
but
I think you have a good idea, or some of you guys do at the shop,
of what books
are
the scalpers are looking
the
for.
Speculator books.
Right.
I'm sure there's some speculator blogs out there we should find. Say, oh guys, this is what you need to get. Hey.
Yeah, geez.
See, I don't know what and I'm curious what Ryan's opinion of this would be.
Okay.
But I have wondered a couple of times if a shop could be successful, literally going, okay, I'm going to order this many copies of this book #1 for the shelf. I'm going to get 2 or 5 or whatnot to just set aside in case this becomes the next Walking Dead in a year.
Yeah, but I can't. The Peter Panzerfest #9 that just came out this week sold auctions on eBay for $25. I can't. Why? It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating.
I'm sure there's an algorithm out there that can't be beat on how to order comics and everything, and you guys know more about that than I do. But from the standpoint of coming into many different shops, because as I've told many of you guys, and I think at different points of time, we've all shopped at multiple places in a week. Went through 4 or 5 shops on a Wednesday, which to some might sound like a lot of work. But to me, it's I'm excited. I'm like, oh, what else am I going to find? Oh, what am I missing? And you get to talk and learn, from Jim, from the Ryans, from the Herbs, from Comics and Cards in San Francisco. That was another shop that I lived right down the street from. For him, he was saying if it's going to be a #1, he would just forget about it. He grabbed 5 of them and just put them in the box in the back of his back stock stuff and just forget about it. And then he would have some stuff that would go immediately on eBay, and then he would have the majority of stuff for, of course, his pools and then some on the shelf. But that's kind of cool to have that, but not a lot of people can afford to do that, right?
Yeah, that's the other thing is you're looking at store sizes. If you have a store that can afford to order 100 copies of Peter Panzerfest #9 and sell through 100 copies of Peter Panzerfest #9, that's great. But a lot of shops can't order that amount for their shelves.
I could order 1,000 copies of Peter Panzerfest #9. The fact is, I'm going to sell 4 or 5 here to the store to regular customers, and that other 995 copies are going to I guess just put on eBay, like, or go to some of these scalper guys, like, for them to just put on eBay. Like, I could just turn my order in for number 10 and order like 500 copies if I really wanted to. I think 250 is the max you can order online. So I could bump my order by to 250 copies and just put them all on eBay and sell them for $10 a pop, I guess. But
the question, like, just from a general supply and demand thing, it doesn't necessarily, like, okay, I'm curious how many of number 9 have sold for 25, because the minute you put up something where you have an auction, because I've done this, I've flipped a lot of stuff on eBay, not comic books, but like I have been known to do the, Fry's has a really good sale price on this week. I'm going to go down and buy a shit ton because it sells for a lot more on eBay than it is in Fry's right now. And So I spend $20. The first one I put up, I get $40. Woohoo! Second one, I get $38. Third one, I get $35. Fourth
diminishing
one,
returns. Sure.
And then, like, you see the same thing with Comic-Con exclusives. You get sort of like that really big price for the first couple, and then it goes down and down and down, and then sort of levels off. And actually, I'm going to go even farther with this when it comes to the PlayStation 3.
Yeah.
PlayStation 3, perfect example for these people who are going around trying to make a quick buck, because they rush out, they spend their money because they heard one of these sold for $1,000 or $2,000 on eBay in the morning. So they run out and they go harass people in parking lots and be like, I'll give you $800 for the PS3 that you just bought.
Yeah.
They pay their $800, get the PS3, get home, and realize the last one sold for $400.
Right.
Eventually, that's what's going to happen with these books, is you go out and buy your 50 copies. You might get $25 for one of them, but the minute you have 50 copies to turn over on eBay and there's other people who ran out and got 50 copies, you're now competing the same way most markets are.
Yeah, first mover wins all the time. If you don't sell it the fucking first day, the second day, the third day, you're done. Yeah. And that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
So, yeah.
All right. I got a few more questions. Man, we're recording way longer than I wanted to do these questions for, but let's get through one or two more too, then we're going to talk about Batman 17.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Let's see. I feel like I've talked about a lot of this before. This is from Necrotic Doctor on Twitter. He asks, still new to comics, what's up? What's a solution to recent unwanted comics? Don't want to drown in crappy comics. This is a question that everyone wants to know the answer to, and there is no other answer than eBay, donate to a store, sell to a store, throw away,
give to friends.
Give to friends.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the only things you can do with them. Mm-hmm. Most of them are worth nothing. Most of them will sit in your box and die. Most will sit in quarter bins. Occasionally you'll buy Peter Pan's Faust number 9 and have a $25 book in your hand. But no. Donate them. You're not going to get money from them to a store. You could try selling them on eBay and a lot.
Don't sit on them long term is my advice.
Yeah.
Basically, the minute you decide this isn't something you want to have, take it into your store, because if it's a month old, the chances of the store kind of going, I could use an extra copy of this, are going to be much higher than if you go in a year later if it's not a hot selling.
Right. So that's what happens. And here's a quick question. This is from Scott on Twitter. He asked, is it just me or is Marvel's reboot better than the New 52? The answer is you are incorrect. Okay, I'm done.
It's completely different. It's not, and this is for someone that reads and picks up a lot more Marvel.
It's totally different
than I did before. They're solid, good books. They've reinvigorated the brand quite a bit.
Absolutely.
Definitely for myself, personally.
I'm selling more Marvel than I have in years.
For me, and this is just it, this is a dream. I'm getting Jeff Johns on Marvel right now. Hickman runs shit. It's not Bendis anymore. Thank you. I love it.
Yeah, it is different. I mean, the New 52 and Marvel Now are totally different. They may be a bunch of new number ones, but their methods, their titles, their goals are completely different.
I mean, who would ever thought we get fucking an Infinity Gauntlet fucking rehashed version by this historian buff lover this dude that's into like religion and steepled like fucking just crazy ass stories with multi layers. Hickman, I love you. Gotta tell you, I love you.
So yeah,
Brock doesn't love you, but fuck Brock.
I liked his Fantastic Four stuff that I've read. The second time around, not the first time.
we had a bunch of random crap we were going to talk about this week, but I think let's just talk about Batman.
Batman.
That's the only good thing. Batman's good, so that's what we can talk about.
How many times? No, really quick around the horn, real quick. How many times have you guys read the book?
Just 17?
Yeah,
Twice.
Once.
Twice.
3 times.
Nice. So Batman 17...
The art was a lot better, too.
Batman 17 spoilers. If you not want to know about the end of Death of the Family, stop listening, and we'll catch you next week. If you want to hear about the rest of this book, continue listening. This is a big book, so we're going to talk about this for a while. Batman 17 came out the last week. It is the end of Death of the Family, Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, end of the big Joker arc in Batman. I don't think we talked about it getting leaked last week, did we?
No.
Okay.
We were all in mourning.
Yeah, it actually got leaked last Monday. So 2 days before release, copies got put up on BitTorrent and our Reddit, I think, had it. And a lot of bad reviews coming out about it. A lot of people read it and they're like, "Oh, it's stupid." A lot of bad reviews. Tuesday, I'm starting to be like, "Oh God, no! Wow, that's not good. This has been so good. How did they mess this up?" Right? So I pick up the comic and I kind of flip through it, and I didn't read the spoilers, but I kind of got the vibe. People online were like, "Oh, this was stupid. This was stupid." So I started kind of flipping through it, and I'm like, "Oh, this is not kind of going in the direction I thought it was going to go in. This seems different." But I'm not going to read it. I'm going to get home tonight, pull out my copies of 13 through 16, sit down and read them all. Sat down and read them all. Fuck the haters, man. Amazing. Mm-hmm. Anyone who thinks Batman 17 was bad or boring or a cop-out didn't read 13 through 16, because so much of what happens in 17 was just... It makes so much more sense when you go back and read 13 through 16. So much of it's kind of just...
It's a script. It was a fucking script. It was written out beforehand. That's the way most stories are told, right? They're not just fucking plotted out and storyboarded out, even though we're in the world of comics.
Right. No, everything that happens in 17, and we'll get into more specific spoilers in a minute here, but it was telegraphed from the first issue. If you go back and read those first 2 issues, it's the Joker. It's a joke. He played a big fucking joke, a deadly joke for many people, but this is the Joker. This isn't Random Mass Murderer 17. This isn't Saw, all right? This is the Joker.
The thing is he was replaying things.
Well, right. So through the course of the story, the Joker goes back to a lot of his... He kind of takes a Professor Zoom look at "I am making you a better hero," which was the Jeff Johns take on Zoom. So this is kind of a similar thing where Joker's like, your Robins and your Batgirls are keeping you down. You love me, I love you. We're true, I'm your best friend, right? Without you, why...
I make you better, they make you worse.
Why am I still here? If you loved them more than you loved me, you would have killed me long ago, because all I do is torture them. So, and it was a great... Well,
that's the thing that's the twist. I mean, because it was a twist from Death in the Family.
Right.
Because that's the thing is Joker did that. He killed a Robin, and look what it did. So this time...
Well, this was not Death of the Family. This was not Joker killing all the Bat family. This was the death of the family. This is the Joker metaphorically destroy. Something happened in the time where Batman was unconscious. Besides all the stuff where, all the stuff that happened in the previous issues. In that last issue, Batman was unconscious. He wakes up. They're all like, "F you, Bruce, but let's get out of here." The Joker told them stuff. We don't know exactly what the Joker told them, but it was implied that the Joker was talking a lot of crap about
No, it's
dude, not even that.
Killing the relationship.
The joke, all of that stuff plays out in their own titles.
Right.
So, for Jason Todd, it's in Red Hood and the Outlaws and Teen Titans with Tim Drake. So a lot of that stuff is built up,
right?
Yeah.
From those. I mean, you don't need to necessarily read them, but that's where the Joker is planting his seeds in there. But that's the thing is that's the thing. He did that. He killed a Robin, but this time he didn't have to kill anybody to make what he wanted happen work.
I guess here's, to me, the way the book was sold in a lot of ways, I think worked against it in a sense. because they didn't just sell it as a big Joker story. They kind of, like, when marketing this book, pulled out all the Killing Joke, Death in the Family. Like, most of the stuff they were quoting felt, I mean, I hate to say it, for a long time felt permanent. I mean, Jason Todd was dead for a long time. Barbara Gordon was crippled for a long time. These are stuff that had these very long-lasting impacts within the Bat books. And coming out of this, you kind of go in there expecting a very long-lasting impact on the back books. And I don't get the sense that what happened in this book is going to be that.
So you're thinking that they're going to be ignoring Bruce's they're not going to be ignoring Bruce's texts and video chat calls
and
the next
other
like wait I gotta talk to my dad
and I mean I'm not saying that this was a great story. This is definitely one of those stories I would still suggest to anybody who likes the Joker. I just think that when the minute you kind of name the thing Death of the Family, start comparing it to Killing Joke and how impactful those stories were, the impact is kind of different in those stories, and I think people went into this expecting that kind of impact.
I agree with you from the standpoint of it's going to be very difficult for all the creators that take on this next book to be able to convey the same experience. It's so easy to convey death.
Right.
Someone died in a book. You can't bring him back, or bring him back like a fucking year later, 2 years, 10 years later. That's huge. That's permanence. So there's permanence there. Someone, fucking Batgirl getting crippled, getting shot, and getting fucking for the most part, like fucking what's that chick in Walking Dead? Australian chick that's super hot.
The TV show?
Oh, you're not watching it right now. I'm sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway.
No? Anyways, okay. So no one's going to fucking be able to pick up the subtlety of that.
Well,
brilliance! It's fucking awesome.
The thing is like you said, Charlie. The death in the family and Killing Joke. Those outcomes were physical outcomes. Those were Robin was dead. Barbara Gordon was crippled. This is trust is broken.
Right.
But now trust will get
But they could still do a year or two of the Bat family is broken, and now we have to kind of get it back together.
And I hope
it's an emotional no man's land.
Like, I really do hope it lasts that long.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
But there's always going to be the next Bat crossover. And when these books sell better when the Bat family is able to interconnect a lot.
Sure. But if this is the pitch going in, going, hey, we're going to kind of break up the family for, even a year, that could be the year going forward. And look at what happened with both Barbara Gordon and Jason Todd after their things. Barbara Gordon as Oracle, stronger character, more influential character, did more as Oracle ever than Batgirl, right? Which is why a lot of people don't like that she's Batgirl again. Jason Todd, way more effective as Red Hood than he ever was as Robin. He was nothing as Robin. Red Hood is I'm not going to say he's better as Red Hood, but he's way more effectual. He's obviously a much stronger character, both from our point of view and from the point of view inside the continuity.
Do you know what I would have kind of liked to see if this was planned from the beginning?
What's that?
I would have liked to have seen this be like, this story could have easily been a very good catalyst for Dick Grayson no longer being Robin, going to be Nightwing and breaking if
it hadn't already happened.
Exactly. It's like if they had done New 52, hasn't been around that long, they could have literally sort of planned a retelling of that stuff. And I think to me, it would have felt more, but...
Well, we go through these stages, remember. We had a long time where they said, we're going back to the Dark Knight. We're going back to Batman as Batman, and Robin's not a part of it, and we're just going to have him... We could have that again. We could be going back to those years of Bruce as Bruce. And
did you guys read the...
Bruce as Batman, I mean.
The Batman and Robin annual and Batman and Robin 17?
I haven't read them yet. But I know 17 is like an aftermath.
Oh, man. If you going and reading the annual and then reading 17 and then reading Batman and Robin 17, holy shit. You're just like, this is... I mean, because this is the thing is I think what a lot of people missed was... It's not only, for Bruce and Batman, it's not only just these people that he's surrounded himself with, that he's made his family with. This is actually his family attached too, because Damian's there. And then that's the whole thing with the spoilers for, Batman Incorporated 8. We're not sure.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like, I like what I really enjoyed what they did, but I'm curious, what did you guys think of what Batman was doing when he was telling Joker he's going to tell him his name?
Yeah, that was kind of cool. But I also like, for the most part, that we saw a Batman that was completely stripped of all of his like genius and like, he was shown in front of his family who I thought the whole fucking it was their faces chilled on ice.
Yeah.
Like I thought that shit was like, oh, they're fucking dead. The whole family's dead. This is like I wasn't thinking. I was just in the moment because the storyboarding, everything was just so good. Polo, props to you, Polo, because I hate you as an artist for the most part, but I think this book was fucking incredible.
Well, the people that wanted Dead Alfred from issue number 1, it's like, come on, guys, do you really want that? Are you really that bloodthirsty?
I was one of them. But this is so much better because we get to see fucking Batman and Bruce Wayne together, and everybody, the family, they have a huge chink in the armor, and they're like, this guy was like, this is our mentor. Yeah, he's not perfect, but he's the closest fucking goddamn thing to it as a human being and not a superpowered being within our super multiverse, whatever.
Right.
And dude, it's like everyone stepped away from that moment. And I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. But just that moment itself, it was very subtle, but there is genius in the subtlety of it. Having that one moment in the fucking flip, how many pages in that one panel? How many panels in that one page?
Yeah.
He was just fucking just giving the hand. No. Everyone is so fucking disturbed, just like Saw.
Yeah.
Like you said, Saw. And it's that kind of moment. Joker will do that to you. And dude, how is H-A, how is that dubnonium or whatever, the element of bacteria and virus that gets through and becomes everything? How genius is that?
Yeah.
Ha. How genius is that? That's a fucking element.
We didn't actually tell it to people that hadn't read the book. The reason there's this split in the family is because it's Joker basically convinces everyone that he's been in the Batcave, that he knows who everyone is. And, Batman's like, no, he doesn't. And they're like, well, has he been in the cave? And he's like, no, he hasn't. But then it turns out, they're basically playing a game with each other. And that's when Batman turns to him later and goes, I know your name. And he's going to tell him. He doesn't know his name. Joker doesn't know who the people are. They're both just playing a joke on each other, right? But this is the only way Batman can fight back. But regardless of that, the fact that Joker could have been in the cave and he never told them, that is one of those, like, you never had us look into this. We went our entire life and the Joker could have known who we are the whole time. Even the fact that he doesn't, you didn't look into it. You're so convinced that he didn't that you never even checked it out. Like, that's fucked up. And I agree with that. And that's a good reason for them to be pissed at him. How long will it last? Who knows? But
to me, the sort of twist in the knife there is kind of funny.
That's
because
the joke.
But the fact of the matter is when Bruce talks about it, he talks about all the reasons why it couldn't have happened. And they all are perfectly reasonable explanations. It's like there could technically be a 0.01% chance that somehow, some way he made it in.
But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be the Joker because he's so unpredictable.
Well, yeah, but I guess my point is the trick there is the fact that, as you said, the Joker convinced them that it was possible when it wasn't.
Right.
Now, mind you, that being said, he may have found his way there anyways because of Jason Todd and what they did there. But did you read the Red Hood stuff?
The Red Hood stuff, I didn't read. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to jump on that so I can understand some of the other little stories that I missed out on. But do you guys think that, like, everyone around the table, like Alfred, everyone that was cognizant, maybe not Alfred, but like Damian, that they felt like, oh, wait a minute, maybe what Joker is saying is kind of true. Maybe Bruce Wayne is truly the one that's fascinated with the Joker, and like his being, it truly is that fucking yin and yang. Yeah.
And that's, again, another reason why haven't you killed him?
Because Capullo's like, the way they even showed his mouth, he's like, Capullo's mouth is always like this. But it really, like, oh shit, really? You got me. I am fascinated with you.
Did you look at the Red Hood stuff at all, like starting with Zero?
I haven't read the last few issues, but I did catch up on just the Batman stuff. So,
well, the reason I'm asking is because with like issue 0 and then going into this, they I'm going to spoil the shit out of this because
ahead,
I can. So they revealed that basically the Joker picked Jason to take over as Robin. Like, he found him, he manipulated events, he basically staged this big joke on Batman, getting him to pick Jason as Robin and then killing Jason. Like, that was this big...
That's the whole thing with the death in the family. He's like, well, I killed him this time, and look what happened.
Yeah.
So why should I kill him this time? He's just going to get more of them. This is what he has to do. I said, kill the whole family by, the trust needs to get broken.
But, I mean, more than just, like, his death, he was responsible for Batman finding him, Batman training him. He had been pulling those strings from the moment Batman encountered Jason Todd.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, as I said, there's plenty of reasons why Joker might know more than he lets on, just in a different way.
Right. Yeah, I mean, this story was so good. I mean, the stuff at the police hospital, or the police hospital, the police precinct.
Oh my God. I still say, like, that first issue 13, between what happened in the issue and in the backup, was some of the most intense comic book reading I have probably ever read.
I'm totally excited for the hardcover of this. Like, it comes out, I'm there reading it.
And, Joker sets up this whole thing in Arkham Asylum, and again, a scary ass Arkham Asylum as well.
Oh, yeah.
Of just throwing a video game gallery of rogues against him. It's just like, oh, here comes Scarecrow, here comes Mr. Freeze, boom, 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 all one on each other, just punks them all down. But just the whole setup where Batman is king and Joker's the jester, and Harvey's the judge. And going in and having the fake Justice League of just the humans, man, that was just so good. It just slowly goes through and recreates all these.
I liked how Snyder did that. He went through and he gave us those moments that we know Joker for, like the video game putting you up against the one thing after another after another. That's always what happened in the warehouse, right? It would be Joker's Batman's trying to get to Joker, and it's one thing after another that he has to get through. Or it's, the dark side of Joker where, oh shit, what's going on? What's going to happen when the lights go out, right? So we're getting all of these kind of different feelings that we've gotten as we've read the Joker stories over, the course of our comic book reading history.
Yeah, I mean, because in the 17 he just sets up the death trap basically, right? Which we hadn't. You don't see that kind of classic death trap in a lot of superhero books these days. They kind of got away from that. So
yeah,
it's interesting that they kind of brought back a take on it. So. Yeah, Batman 17. I can't recommend highly enough. If you get a chance to read 13 through 17 all in a row, read them all in a row. I think so much of the stuff, especially at the beginning, sets up that no one was gonna. Well, plenty of people die, but why Joker's doing what he's doing, and that, again, this is the Joker. This is a joke,
and it's huge. Like, about Joker. Like, Joker is always going to be fucking A game. Like, fucking everyone's going to be on it. It's a huge spotlight.
Yeah.
But while I was reading the story, too, I couldn't help but think about Jeff Johns' little, whole story about Batman. And, how it puts us in the back of our minds. Maybe Batman is a whole lot of crazy. Because genetically, maybe his mom is from Arkham. Or, that whole little story twist.
Are you talking about the Earth 1 stuff?
Yeah, the Earth 1 stuff. I'm talking about that. So, I don't know. I got to recommend that just because I thought about it while I was reading it, too. Though it's nowhere near connected, I'm sure it did influence some of Snyder's storytelling because this stuff that was done with Earth 1 was told a long time ago. Well, it was written probably a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, before it was only published, 8 months ago?
Something like that.
Well, we also have the classic, quote-unquote death of the Joker at the end where, once again, falling into water, in this point, he falls off the little waterfall thing. In the previous one, it was into the ocean, and that that was the first. He dies basically in the first arc, and so when they first introduced him years, back in the 30s.
Can you imagine seeing that as a movie where he's falling, and then all you see is this mask fluttering down?
That's fucking demented. But you know what's crazy too about all of this? Who has more of a following, the Joker or Batman? From all the stories reading it, it just seems like there's this huge following of Joker, all this fucking nut house and all the.
The Joker's fantastic, but he's one of those characters where if you just keep dragging him out, it's like any villain. It's Lex Luthor, I can always kind of see being in the background, or like a Green Goblin. I could see, because of the way they have these characters set up. Joker, you can't drag him out all that often.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Joker for a few years again. I don't want to see him in the back of every book. like because he needs time to build his scheme, whatever his next crazy thing is. And if he's just doing, I'm just walking around being to the Joker, like,
even if he just shows up in one little fucking page and fucking shanks fucking Alexander Luthor with the knife.
Look at the video game franchise with Arkham City or Arkham Asylum and then Arkham City. Arkham Asylum was heavily based off of Joker at first, but then the second one it has Joker in it, but Joker's not the main thrust of the story. But a lot of what happens is Joker related because he's
around.
It comes back around, but that's the thing is you can tell a good Joker story, but like you said, it can't be Joker's here issue 1 through 5, and then we see him 7 through 9, and then we see him 11 through 13.
Yeah, I don't want to do that with any villain.
Well, see, I feel kind of weird chiming in on this because I love a good primary Joker story, but I also loved his appearance in Hush, and
no doubt.
There's a number of times they've used Joker as sort of a backup character to something else going on that have been so enjoyable reads as well.
Joker is like that seasoning you use in a recipe where if you overuse it, it's disgusting. But if you use just the right amount of it, oh man, it makes whatever you're eating so much better.
That's a nice little analogy. I like it.
Nice.
You put us down for the food category? No.
All right. We're going to... just in from Brian Michael Bendis, Ultimate Universe not canceled. So there you go.
Damn it.
Yeah. A little rumor that we may be seeing the end of the Ultimates, but we'll see what's up. Well,
would you care?
That. Ultimate's dumb. No, I wouldn't. I'd be happy if the Ultimate books went away. They're a waste of space.
I can't believe your back room is so huge.
Hey,
that's what she said.
Trust me, it'll get filled up quick.
Yeah, that's what she said.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Batman 17. It's our random comic pick of the week. How about that? There you go, Barack. Oh, second.
No, that's not a random comic pick.
It's random for me.
No, it's not.
No, we're done. If you guys like this episode, you can listen to all of our other episodes at www.geekbox.net or comicsconspiracy.biz. And actually, I haven't put the last few episodes up on the Comic Conspiracy site.
Haven't.
I haven't updated that in like a month. I don't know why. I just totally forgot about it. So I just realized it right now. It's like, wait, I don't actually put those up there. I got to do that again. You can go to forums at geekbox.net and talk to us on the forum. We're all over there on the comic forum and the Comic Conspiracy forum.
I haven't been there in a while.
Comic Conspiracy thread. We noticed. What else we got? ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog. You can go there. Go read his stuff. Comics Into Kind. That's Omar's blog. You can go there. InfiniteLongbox.com for all your Infinite Longbox needs with Charlie and his podcast.
No. Whoa. This is like a new thing. You got to kind of build it up. You got to kind of this InfiniteLongbox.com.
It's been there. We've mentioned it before.
Yeah, but it hasn't had much. Now it's starting to be better than your business site.
Charlie's putting some stuff up on Infinite Longbox. He's working on going to have some reviews up there, and then links to the reviews from the podcast and some news and a little thing. So Charlie's building a nice little thing going on there. So yeah, it's good stuff.
I tried, Charlie. I tried.
Yeah. If you go now, it's more than what it was a couple weeks ago.
He doesn't have the enthusiasm.
Sorry,
it's more than it was even yesterday.
Yeah, every day it's more than it was the day before. What else we got? We're on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, Brock Sager, Comics Into Kind, Insanity and Chaos. Toby XI is Toby. Hopefully he should be back really soon. So we missed him. I don't know. What else we got? The Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox. At geekbox.net. You can send us some email on there. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's our digital site. Giant Real Nova 99-cent sale today. RIP. Get them before. Well, you probably can't. It's probably over now. But
we could at least get the Nova, the Nova from the last series.
Get them before. Yeah, it was the Abnett Landing series. Get it before Jeff Loeb ruins Nova on Wednesday forever.
Well, I'm hoping it's not ruined forever. I will at least read it to know for sure.
Have you not read any of the Point 1 previews?
Oh, I will read the first issue. I will probably read the first arc. I will give it.
You know what? You're going
4 to 6 issues.
I give you 5 pages.
Oh, I
give you 5 pages.
I'm gonna be swinging from the rafters after 3. Okay, but
I give you 5. But I'll get through 5. I'd be impressed.
I'm gonna my hair's gonna be white by the end of the first issue. I'm gonna have killed 20 people by the end of the second. But I'll try to survive an arc. And
I'm
we'll
just
see.
so glad that you forgot about your speedball rant.
Yeah, I know. No, I didn't forget about it. It's just whatever. I don't.
It's buried in a book that Cyclops has some weird costume that nobody else is following, and Magneto's wearing a pretty cool costume, but he's not a medieval knight.
Bendis did not confirm nor deny that he created a new speedball in Uncanny X-Men #1 this last week.
The question I have is when Cyclops shoots in the comic book, because I haven't even opened the page because there's Bendis on the book. Is it an X whenever he shoots?
Oh, because
no, it's broken, so it comes out as like on a line here and maybe a line down there or something.
I don't know.
Like an X.
I don't understand. That would be kind of cool, though.
I don't understand how their powers are broken right now.
Although, I guess...
I love saying their powers are broken.
Bring up this Cyclops stuff. I read on Our Value Customer today. They had this girlfriend talking about boyfriend superheroes. It's like, why would anyone be Cyclops' boyfriend? You go to kiss him and his thing would hit your nose every time. His visor.
Well, see, the thing about this, too, though, wait, is Scott, he can shoot his hand and it's okay?
Yes.
Okay. I thought this is a nerd moment for me.
He can shoot his hand.
I thought the brothers
can shoot
each other and they get more powered up.
And he can shoot his brother and it doesn't hurt his brother.
That's weird.
I'm not sure they've ever fully explored how far that goes. I know it goes farther than just his brother.
Huh. But
I don't remember if it's I don't know if he shot Cable, if Cable would be affected.
Huh. If you know the answer to some
of these questions, leave them on infinitelongbox.com.
Summer's genealogy power questions. Go to forums@geekbox.net and answer us there.
Or ask Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah. All right, we're done.
No, we're not. We're never done.
FU New Speedball, and we're out.